So I get a lot of questions. When I say a lot of questions, like ad nauseum, I get certain questions that just grind on me because I can't talk about them. But behind me, the old Gotham warehouse where I used to work out of, everybody, why, what happened to Gotham? What happened to Gotham? Now, I'm going to tell you. So what happened? Well, the short answer is they owed me a lot of money, and I sort of lost patience in giving them more time to pay me back. Therefore, we came to a tipping point. So how did they owe me a lot of money? Why did they owe me a lot of money? Well, who owed me a lot of money? Let's break that down real quick. I got to the actual, and now we'll give you a little bit of the background. Short story, and I'm going to try to keep this all very short because there's a lot that happened and transpired, bunch of different moving parts. But the short answer is they fell behind in paying me. They being, I'm not even going to mention their company name, Company A, who acquired the assets, the business end of Gotham Dream Cars. Now, Gotham Dream Cars, owned by myself, Noah, and some other guy, and we sold the fulfillment end. So imagine the Hilton Hotel sells the property to somebody else, company buys the Hilton property. I still own Hilton. I still send the people to the property, but the actual hotel is owned by somebody else. That's what ended up transpiring. At that time, me as the person who used to own the hotel, I don't have any need for the employees, and I was one of those employees. Essentially, Gotham fired all the employees in the locations that day, the same time they were rehired by the company that was taking over the assets, and that company ended up falling behind in paying me. And as that started to snowball, the amounts got larger and larger. Obviously, when that happens, I try to be the nice guy and start laying out some money when the company needs, like, oh, well, look, if I don't pay for this flight, this guy's not going to get here, the rental's not going to happen, I can't have that. And I laid out about $9,000 in expenses that I was still due at the time of my leaving. And you saw the video where I left the facility. The reason I left the facility is because we came to that tipping point, and they owed me a lot of money. And they owed me a lot of money. They fell behind virtually beginning 6 months in. They fell behind in paying me. And I was like, oh, okay, like big company, a lot of money. I'm not too concerned about it. And it just kept snowballing as time went on. Fast forward 9 or 10 months. In the summer, there were some cars that were needed. They didn't have them. They didn't want to buy them. So I bought a Range Rover Evoque, GLS, and we had a revenue split, and we were, I was paying for the cars. We were renting them out, and half the revenue was supposed to come to me, and half of the revenue was supposed to go to them. They never paid me my half of the revenue for like 50 some odd $1,000 in rentals, so I'm still due that money. So you have the expenses of 10 grand, the money from the rentals, my half of the rentals that I didn't get, and then back pay. Fast forward till October, and I'm like, look, this is getting ridiculous. It was over 50 grand at the time. I don't remember how much it was, but it was over 50 grand. I talked to the CFO, and I'm like, look, I can't really, like, I had a good relationship with the CFO. I can't really keep this between us anymore. I'm going to have to go above your head. Like, you tell me you're going to pay me, you're not paying me. You tell me you're going to send me 20 grand, you send me 5. This just isn't workable. I can't allow this to keep going on, because when there's never a, if every month, instead of the debt going down, the debt goes up, that's a bad sign. So October comes along. I was calling the CFO once or twice a week, being like, oh, come on, pay me, pay me, pay me. Went over his head to the one of the bosses of the company. There were 2 owners that I dealt with. Talked to the one, oh, that's unacceptable. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. We'll get you, and he assured me that I will be made current by the end of that year. Right? So, you know what? Fine. Enjoy your holidays. Enjoy November, December. I'll just kick back and wait. December 31st came and went. Did not get paid back. So January goes. Start calling the CFO. Oh, wait for the holidays. Start calling him beginning of middle of January. Oh, now we got to close the books on the previous year. Once we close the books, then we can reconcile your account and get you squared away. February. Oh, books still aren't closed. March. Books still aren't closed. Fast forward, I'm at the National Car Rental Convention in Las Vegas in April. I meet the 2 owners for lunch. I talk to the other owner now, and I'm like, look, guys, you owe me over 100 grand. We got to do something about this. Well, that doesn't sound right. I could never imagine. We'll reconcile your account today. I've been asking for reconciles even up to that day. Of course, this guy calls up. He's in the office, calls up, gets a reconciliation done. It gets a little sloppy from there. A little he said, she said. We didn't agree on your compensation for 2017 yet, so we can't give you anything for January, February, and March yet because we haven't agreed on anything. Fine, guys. You know what? Let's just focus on the money that you owe me from 2016 that you said you were going to pay me by the end of 2016. And it didn't go. What they wanted to do, they first negotiated that down even further unilaterally by saying, we're going to deduct this and we're going to deduct that. And then they told me that they wanted to pay that out. The money that I was promised I would get by the end of the previous year, in April now, they're telling me they want to pay that out over 9 months. And I'm like, guys, that's not happening. And I'm not giving you an interest-free loan on money you told me I was going to get then. And after I sent that email, I didn't get a response. And I mean, you knew it wasn't going to go on much longer than this. And at that point in time, they finally found a reason to fire me at that point in time by saying I sent a rental to another company. We won't get into the details of that, but we had a rental for $15,000, figures $8,000 for a Ferrari, $7,000 for a McLaren. We had the McLaren, we didn't have the Ferrari available. Called the customer, said we can get you a Lamborghini, any Rolls Royce, whatever you want. He said, if you don't have the Ferrari, cancel the rental. I was like, I'm not canceling the rental. I'll keep the McLaren rental. I'll get somebody else to do the Ferrari rental so we don't lose the rental. I did that. They used me sending the business to another company as the excuse to fire me. A couple of months later, fast forward, the owner apologized for that, saying that like he didn't do his research and whatever. Bullshit. But that's why I had to leave Gotham Dream Cars' old facility, and that's why I no longer worked out of that facility. Now, as I reiterated in videos, I still own Gotham Dream Cars. Noah still owns Gotham Dream Cars. The ownership of Gotham Dream Cars hasn't changed. It's just the guys doing the fulfillment for certain locations who hired me to run the New Jersey location, and they gave me other responsibilities around the country. That company owed me a lot of money. That's the company who took over the lease in the Englewood space. And once that company fired me, obviously it was no good for me to work out of that space any longer, which is why I had to take my cars, take myself, take my stuff, and move on out. So there you have it. There's the update. There's more to this story. There's more. This was a big crux video because there's a bunch of stuff that I couldn't get into that ties into this. So now that we've got this out of the way, there's a lot more stuff to come, a lot more updates to come, a lot more, let's call it drama to come. Still stuff unfolding years later, but, you know, a lot of lawyers working on a lot of things right now. But there's your answer as to what happened between me and the Gotham Dream Cars facility in Englewood, New Jersey. Now you know, and knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe.